Hi, I'm Jess. I am Stoke Deli Bar and Cait's partner in Bushel Peck. Today I'm answering your questions.
But hold on. I think it's really important to state how I make my popcorn because it's a thing. Hi, I'm Cait, co-owner of Bushel Peck, and this is me answering your questions.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dutch dish.
I don't know if I just don't know anything about Dutch food or if that was a typo because I don't know that that's a thing, but I'm gonna say any Dutch dish you're working on that needs salt and acidity. I have no idea.
Less than 3 steps?
Yep.
Okay, so what I would do is I would grab some Zing product. I would add some smoky, it's delicious, love it. I would probably add magumbo and some kind of herb.
Thanks for the question, Mom. So this goes for any vegetable. If you're going to cook it, I would say roast hotter and shorter than you think to get a little bit of caramelization, but not cook them too much. Just do that dry with no seasoning or oil or anything, and then season and marinate the vegetables after they get cooked. I think that's like a chef hack that not a lot of people get, is that you basically, when you cook, like say like cauliflower or potatoes or something, you're kind of like opening the pores when you cook them a little bit. So by seasoning or putting, like red wine vinegar, olive oil, lemon juice, or anything like that on after, the vegetable is gonna be more receptive to that. And then also you're gonna get like the most bright flavors because they're not gonna get cooked out.
The spice I would gift a fellow chef would be the Zing umami salt.
That's a tough one because my brain goes to, I wouldn't give a novice chef anything too complicated, or like a lot of the seasonings that we have in the shop are very like kind of like hacks, whereas with a novice chef I'd almost just want to give them like olive oil and salt and like have them master the basics of that first. But outside of that, I really love all of the Zing seasonings, zesty, smoky, boom, and umami. They're all just really great, like pumped up versions of salt and pepper basically, with all their own kind of like different profiles. But yeah, I do find myself reaching for those quite a bit.
My go-to brunch recipe would be smoked salmon on a bagel. It's not, but.
Typically when I'm having brunch, I'm doing it on like Sunday morning. So I'm feeling like I have a little bit more time, but I still feel kind of lazy. So I'm going for something that's like a one-pan wonder. Probably something like a shakshuka or another kind of like baked egg all in one. Eat it straight out of the thing you're cooking it in, kind of a vibe.
We decided to not carry alcoholic beverages because there's a huge window in Niagara for 0% alcohol.
When we were opening the shop, it was kind of the height of COVID, and we, along with a lot of people we are friends with and knew, were kind of getting burnt out from the excesses that came along with COVID, not having to get up at a certain time to go to work, or just having like a ton of time off. I think a lot of people hit the sauce kind of hard, including us probably. So yeah, we were definitely leaning into like, sober October, dry January, like all those kind of month off vibes. And I was just getting people asking us about it. I think because we're kind of a grocery store, like where else do you get that kind of thing? And obviously at like Zara's and Sobeys, you can get like a limited supply of that kind of stuff, but same with everything that we carry in the shop. We wanted to see if we could find just an elevated version. And yeah, we're kind of delighted that we found quite a few cool things.
My favorite condiment I'm embarrassed that I like is, I'm obsessed with Cholula, but like, I'm not embarrassed by it.
I found this to be a funny question because I don't know if I should be, but I'm not embarrassed by any of my condiments. Our fridge is almost entirely condiments, and I think they all have their own place and time to use them. I said Maggi just because I feel like that's a real kind of cowboy, lazy way to add like a ton of flavor and seasoning to something you're making. It's not very chefy, but like, it's incredible.
Red wine could be non-alcoholic or alcoholic. You could also use cider. Cider's good for mulling spices.
Mulling spices, I think people tend to overthink it a little bit or try to bouge it up a little bit too much. I wouldn't buy an expensive bottle of wine to make mulling spice or mulled wine with, because you're not gonna get a lot of the nuances that make that wine special. And to me, I would also juice it up with maybe like a bit of brandy or something like that. So you're gonna taste the wine even less. So I think don't overthink it, and don't use the most special bottle of wine in your cellar to make mulled wine.
The biggest surprise product that I've discovered is the Naughty non-alcoholic sparkling wine. Is delicious and tastes just like sparkling wine.
I think probably the non-alcoholic stuff, because when we were opening the shop, we didn't have that intention to carry that stuff. It was just something that we kind of found and got more interested in along the way. And I think just the timing of COVID and all of the alcohol-free stuff becoming more popular, it just all kind of happened at the same time. So yeah, we weren't really expecting to get into that, but it's been a real pleasant surprise to see that industry kind of be elevated along the same time that we're getting into it.
We started off with Stoke, and then we got a kitchen that's called COMMIS, Culinary Workspace. And then we wanted to keep our members going when COVID hit, and we created Bushel Peck.
So Bushel Peck was not necessarily a plan that we had long term. It was more solving a problem that we had in our other business, COMMIS, which is a commercial kitchen space. It's like a co-working space for chefs. And when COVID came along, we had been at that business just under a year, and it was sort of just starting to make sense. We had like 20 members, and it was starting to really become like a real business. And we were super encouraged, and then COVID came, and just we felt like we're kind of dead in the water, and that all of our members would probably have to quit within the first month or two for sure, just because all of the places they would normally sell their stuff were closed, because it was like everyone was at home 24/7. So we then just started delivering everyone's stuff. We made these little, we called them like market haul totes, and it was basically everything you would get on Saturday morning at the farmer's market, and just one of everything from all of our members, just to keep them afloat in the short term. And then it just evolved. People wanted to customize their totes. It was summer, everybody wanted like a different fruit or vegetable. And we had this space that we were humming and hawing about what we would turn it into, because it was a commercial space that was just sitting empty. And everything just kind of all fell into place at the same time.
Well, I don't really get mad, but Cait might. I find it quite funny.
It's only maddening because the person who messes the displays up is me, 1000% of the time. I'm very clumsy, and I will inevitably, as soon as I've got everything looking exactly how I want it, I trip over something, knock a plant over, send everything on the shelves flying. It's a daily struggle.
If I could pick one thing from the shop, what would it be? One thing from the shop, what would it be? A Stoke sandwich, obviously.
I guess I would go honey smoked nuts, because they're just so delicious. Jess has been making them for over a year, and I'm not sick of them yet. Yeah, honey smoked nuts.
We can look forward to a bigger selection from Stoke. We've got a few cool things on the go.
It's interesting because I'm not actively looking for anything right now, and that's kind of not how we stock the store anyways. We kind of just let things fall into our laps, and then if we like them, we carry them. Honestly, a lot of the time, how we end up stumbling upon products are customers suggest them to us, or friends of ours post about it on Instagram, and so that's how we find stuff a lot of the time. We're not like ticking off a list at any point. But I think just because Jess is just getting Stoke open now, the thing that I'm most looking forward to is seeing what she's able to produce now that she has a little bit more of a permanent space.
My ultimate comfort food, being a Brit, is probably like a pasty, which is like a hand pie, or a roast dinner.
If Jess is home and she's cooking dinner, which is 90% of the time what is happening, I would say Jess's meatballs. She makes these incredible like spiced lamb meatballs. Jess was not home for whatever reason, and I'm cooking popcorn. But hold on. I think it's really important to state how I make my popcorn because it's a thing. 24 seconds before I start the popcorn in the microwave, because that's how I make popcorn, start to melt butter so that it has time to get just starting to brown when the popcorn's ready. This is important. The timing is really important. And then as soon as the butter starts to brown, I like swirl it around a little bit more, take it off the heat, add like a tablespoon of super dark maple syrup, and then the popcorn comes out hot all at that same time. Truffle salt, that's it.
A $50 gift card winner should buy all the candies and chips.
I think if you win a gift card, that's a moment to like treat yourself because it's unexpected free money falling in your lap. So I'm going something bougie like truff hot sauce. If you've been dying to try that, but you're like, oh, $24 for hot sauce, that's kind of a lot. I would go there, or I would go something really special like the chicken truffle fennel pies from Dispatch. Those are incredible to have in the freezer. You can pick up like 3 or maybe 4 for $50. Yeah, something that you wouldn't normally buy, whatever that is for you.
I don't have one.
Local garlic, it doesn't matter how much we can get our hands on at the end of the harvest season when they're hardening all the garlic off and curing it and preparing it for storage over the winter. It doesn't matter how much I can get, it's never enough. We can get braids with like 30 heads of garlic on them, and people will just buy like 4 or 5 of them at a time. I don't know what it is about local garlic, but people freak out over it.
The product I would like to sell in the shop someday is more of Adam's pies. We have some in stock, but we want more. They're delicious. That's Dispatch, by the way.
I don't know if I hope to, but I'm open and interested in selling more potentially like, not homeware specifically, but like little tools that people don't realize they need, I suppose. There's lots of things that Jess and I have in our home kitchen that I know, I go to my sister's or my mom's to cook, and they just have all this whack plastic Tupperware stuff because that's what they sell in stores to people. But there's all of these little random tools that I can't even think of any off the top of my head right now, but that are indispensable. And once you use them every day in the kitchen, you realize that like a small little arsenal of tools, but the right tools is kind of a game changer in home cooking as well. So I don't know, someday that might be kind of fun, but someday.
Will I open up a restaurant? Well, we've kind of opened up a little restaurant here. Like, this is a takeout window, and I think it makes way more sense than having a restaurant.
Personally, probably will not open up a restaurant, but I can definitely see Jess opening one day, and obviously I would support her and help her in any way that I can, but she's kind of opened a restaurant, I think you could call it. It's basically just a takeout window, but food is incredible, and it's being approached in a very thoughtful way, and it's just the thing that makes the most sense during COVID is to open up something that is impervious to opening, closing, and sort of like the unpredictable nature of just Corona. But yeah, I can see her opening like a proper like sit down, something a little bit more experiential one day. We'll see.
What accomplishment? Like, I'm really stoked for us. Like, we've gone down a few little rabbit holes and stuff, but I think that 2022 with Bushel Peck and Stoke combined is going to be really awesome.
The St. Catharines Standard does a Reader's Choice Award every year in the fall, and we actually won. We're nominated for a bunch of things, but we actually won best new business. So that was incredible, just because it was people who, you know, I guess have come to the shop and that are friends of ours, literally just putting in their votes for us. So yeah, that was amazing. A lot of the time, well, because we're chefs, or Jess is a chef, I was a chef for my whole life until right before COVID. Many of the products are things that friends of ours make, whether they be local like food startups, entrepreneurs, or just chefs in restaurants. So a lot of it is just personal connections, and friends of ours are making really cool stuff, so we try and bring it into the shop. Stuff from Dispatch, Merit, that kind of thing. A lot of it just honestly falls in our lap. We've been so lucky that a lot of just friends of ours and people that we know that are local will post something on their Instagram stories, or just be, you know, telling us about some amazing condiment or something that they had, and then we'll be led down a rabbit hole of like trying to source it. But yeah, a lot of it is just kind of serendipity.